too. There's a couple of options here available for WE. I do like the Silas ban as well coming out for top esports, very much saying, Shanks, look, we know you kind of have one or two champions in your pool. You're not the most, you know, you're the shallow end of the pool. You're not exactly a deep diving pool at this point of the time. But for top esports now, they have a choice. Do they prioritize the Viego or the Zhao? Because Beishang has been exceptional on that. I don't expect them to pick up the Renekton. Nope, they're going to lock in the Viego and give over the Zhao to Team WE.
Yeah, I would expect this to be locked in, right? I think this has just been such a versatile flex pick for them ever since Karsa has been willing to pick that one up as well. I was going to say the Irelia ban is kind of weird because I wonder now if WE do just first rotation Jayce of what TS's answer would be. I don't expect WE to do that. We haven't really seen teams outside of RNG being willing to do that on red side. Instead, WE going to be pulling out the Ziggs. This one surprises me quite a bit because Ziggs has actually been one of WE's most consistent bans on this patch because Elk hasn't played it. Elk has not played one game of Ziggs yet. It was looking like he wasn't comfortable on it, but they are going to bring it out. They're also going to bring out the Renekton in the top side. So you already have this steady scaling element in bot that is incredibly annoying to play against as the game goes later, while you do have this more lane-oriented, pressure-oriented style in top for Breed to find advantages with.
And not only that, but taking the Ziggs now puts so much pressure on that bot side and the next rotation of picks. If you want to pick the Aphelios, which you generally see into it, you're kind of pigeonholed into say we have to take Aphelios and Thresh here, meaning we lose out on those solo lane bans and picks. But they're not going to go with the Thresh, they're going to go with the Aphelios instead, and they're hovering up the Jayce. They kind of had to go for this one here, which means we're not going to have Thresh, I would imagine, coming out in that bot side. WE should be able to take their support here and get those bans into, or even take this in Zhao and then get those bans into support.
I was just going to highlight, actually we have not seen Breathe play Renekton yet this split, but you know who has played Renekton? Shanks has played Renekton. So gonna go with the switcheroo, put the Renekton in the mid lane, have the Wukong up against Jayce in the top side. You know, especially at the level 6 mark, it is a matchup that comes online favorably for Wukong. You can pretty much use your ultimate and burn Jayce's flash guaranteed when the wave is pushing against him. And you have AP down in bot side, so you don't need to worry too much. And this even opens up for things potentially like Diana's to be able to come out in the jungle role. So WE coming out with a much more creative draft. Top Esports, on the other hand, I think have kept it pretty stock and standard. Have a lot of range to play with in the Aphelios and the Jayce, which typically could be good against things like the Renekton, which are short range and don't have like a guaranteed way to gap close. But you're up against the Wukong. Wukong will always be able to find his way on the back line. You also have another long range champion on the opposite side, so maybe some cool ult combos coming out from the Wukong and the Ziggs. And now for WE, I would say you could probably even just pick your jungle here, save your support for last pick, and look for the counter pick. My question is where they want to go, right? Because they already have double frontliner. Do they just want to go with more damage with the Diana that we talked about, but actually Top Esports take it off the board?
Yep, Top Esports got to ban that one away. They honestly could still go with the Zhao. Yes, it's very frontline AD heavy, but you still have that Ziggs. You still have an AP carry as such to throw in there. It looks like WE are listening to our cast right now as they are going to be hovering over that particular pick. And yeah, honestly, I actually have no problem with this whatsoever. Just full dive, full committal, get onto that backside with the Wukong, the Renekton, and the Zhao, and just try and be an artillery bot laner with the Ziggs.
And I'm interested to see what they go for here. I would like something that has either some disengage or zone control elements. So I was going to say the Braum would be my highest priority. I think something like an Alistar potentially can work as well if you feel like you do need some sort of engage on your lineup for, you know, when you're looking for a turn. But no, instead just going to go with the Braum. Braum incredibly good against melee bruiser champions in my opinion because it's so easy to just tag them with your passive. You get a lot of mileage out of your ult when you know the whole enemy composition is going to be running into you, and it sets up for the Aphelios perfectly. Now for TS, I feel like we're going to be looking at mid lane because Karsa has been bringing out the Viego. They do need AP in their composition, and they are going to be bringing out the LeBlanc against the Renekton, so is a range versus melee matchup. I don't think you should have too much kill pressure on Renekton. Does have a lot of sustain in lane and can actually get some threat onto you if you do distort in and miss your chain. So going to be an interesting matchup to see with Knight versus Shanks in the mid lane.
Yeah, I do love this Rakan pick right now. Braum, great at disengaging, but in terms of the 2v2 on bot side, Rakan is a soft counter to the Braum in my books, because it's so difficult to actually lock him down, where he can just dash in, dash out, keep himself at arm's length. Yes, he land a Winter's Bite, but to get those concussive blows going on the earlier stages of the game, he's just so slippery. So I actually really do love this from the side of WE. They also recognize that with the Ziggs in the bot lane, this is going to free up Missing to roam around, maybe get that death ball going with Beishang and affect all of those other lanes. With the comps locked and loaded, it does look pretty bog standard from top esports from what we've seen for the last few series, but WE coming out with a little bit of variety here, Lyric.
It's really interesting to me because WE's comp, you have 4 members that want to be jumping in, but Ziggs going to be left alone on the back end. So I feel like Knight has a lot of areas where he can impact this game. If he can find that flank onto Elk, there should be no protection for him, but we should be seeing a lot of fighting coming out from Team WE. For top esports on the opposite side, you want to be kiting this out. You want the front to back. You need Zhuo to be having an insane game on this Braum, and you need JackeyLove to be kept safe. So we're going to see 2 stylistically very different compositions, and I feel like the longer this game goes, the longer team fights go. TS have way more consistent DPS in a team fight, but for WE, they do have a ton of burst, and if any of those ultimates can get on the back line, I feel like you can easily chain them all together, get the Ziggs bomb in there at the end, and potentially a lot of top esports members are just gone.
This is a massive, monumental game here now for WE. Like we said, every game matters. If they 2-1, 2-0, 0-2, doesn't matter. It changes their position. They'll want to put their best foot forward, get a win on the first game, and that should guarantee them top 6. It is a big moment for them now coming into this series. And top esports, like we said, also looking for that big win as well. They can go from 9th to 5th, depending on if they win or lose this series. This has such massive implications on our playoff standings, as we are going to jump onto the rift for Game 1 of Top Esports versus Team WE. And now, Lyric, we come back into the game. Everyone's just fanning out, nothing too crazy. Where do you expect to see the early game action? Do we expect to see a lot of trading of just objectives either side, you know, playing towards weak side, or playing towards your strong side, leaving your weak side to just fend for itself? Or do you expect these teams to push forward and look for a bit more in these early stages?
I think WE will definitely push forward and look. I think you should be playing around your top half of the map. You have Ziggs in the bot lane. He's going to be fine just farming. You made a good point in draft that you're going to get to a point as Missing where you can just leave that lane and leave Elk to farm. Not a lot of kill threat coming out on the opposite side. So we do get to see a replay of what happened in the bottom court. And does anything actually happen? Or are they just being bros?
They're being bros. They're having a bit of a dance, you know? Yeah, nothing wrong. It's the end of the season, end of the regular season. As long as you play the game properly, first 10 seconds, you have a bit of a dance, you know?
You know, I can respect it. You know, good sportsmanship coming out from 369 and Breathe. But going back to what we were hitting on, right? I feel like for WE, you have the Renekton in the mid lane. Sure, Knight can try and pressure him out by playing on the edge of his range, tethering, trying to get a nice like distortion off to the side, potentially hitting that ethereal chains and just proccing your electrocute over and over again. But if Shanks can find the all-in, he will be able to win out in the trade, and Beishang can try to chain that into some sort of 2v2. Karsa not going to be able to have a massive impact in terms of the mid lane matchup, in my opinion, very early on. Zhao definitely heavily winning out in that duel. So for Karsa, I think you're more just looking to cover your soul lanes. You don't want to do too much. If Knight can get prio in that mid lane, you can try and move into topside or into the enemy jungle and try and make picks with numbers advantage. But in my opinion, you're fine playing more defensively as JackeyLove. Okay, that was a bit dicey.
A little bit dicey. Of course, no Summoner's Burn just yet. We do see karsa now running into Beishang's jungle, but they're going to be a 2v2 now. Beishang doesn't quite want this fight just yet. He's now going to turn onto him with the Wind Becomes Lightning and maybe get another trade back. I feel like if he just had his rotation of spells at the start of that fight, that could have been real dicey for Karsa.
100%, and we see there, right? Karsa, I think, have the confidence to look for that play because both of his soul lanes are pushing in, thinking they could potentially follow up, but backing off after that trade back from Beishang comes, looks like 369 and Knight wanting to get their wave states in order. It is going to make sure that Karsa is able to get that topside scuttle. Guess he would have gotten it regardless, but we're seeing a potential dive come out.
This is a bit of an aggressive mood here from top esports. They're trying to just deny Breathe, but Beishang and Shanks covering their top laner. WE reading the situation, reacting accordingly, and they just trade teleport for teleport, so no one really getting a huge advantage out of either side.
No, and I was going to say, I was looking at the minimap, I'm surprised Karsa is going for this.
Speaking of going for it, they're going to go in the bot side. JackeyLove gets himself first blood. The bouncing bomb does not hit, and that means they're going to be able to pick up a second 2v2 double kill on the bot side. JackeyLove online already.
JackeyLove goes from being your worst enemy to your best friend at the drop of a hat. Nice to see top esports bot lane step it up, buying these 2v2 kills. Not going to be able to get this wave pushed in with the fact that Elk has teleport, but really massive advantage. And we're going to go to the replay and see what happened here. JackeyLove just playing so far forward. I love it. Having confidence in the trade to come out. Has the gravitum to lock him down. Zhuo able to go in and mark missing with his passive. And JackeyLove with the critical flash feels like it's what was able to secure this 2v2 victory for the side of TES.
Yeah, I think that was just missing with a very disrespectful play. Not respecting the guns that JackeyLove had. Just taking an absolute boatload of damage from the several auto attacks just constantly going in off him and not really gaining anything for it. You don't have a problem with trading as long as you're gaining something off the back of it, but he just ended up in a bad situation, and top esports fully capitalize on that, get themselves 2 kills, and this is a great start now for this Aphelios. If you get the earlier you can get that first item and a half for this Aphelios, the better it is for them overall as a team.
I do want to highlight that WE did a nice job of using the window they had when top esports bot lane went for the back, because you look at the minimap into top esports bottom side jungle and it is completely littered with wards. So WE have a ton of information on what Karsa will be doing right now. If he decides to try to wrap around through Tribrush and look for some kind of potential skirmish, they know. If he starts making his way up towards top side, it potentially sets up for a window for Beishang to look for something. But Beishang, with the fact that right now on his wolves and his Krug camps are still up, looks like he is going to go back to that original plan we talked about of just playing towards the top half of your map with the pressure that your soul laners are able to generate. We're still really looking for that point where Breathe hits the level 6 mark and you have the all-in ability from the Wukong to be able to force out that flash as Jayce and as Wukong on Jayce and potentially set up the damage coming out from Beishang.
Yeah, we do talk about Wukong being a nice counter into Jayce. It's not so much in the laning phase as it is when the level 6 does hit. You can see the all-in here from 369 is still pretty damn safe, still pretty damn good to be able to go in and trade. Of course, with the Sheen being available to Breathe, you should be able to trade back rather nicely, but needs to be very, very careful with this wave pushing up both junglers to the top side. We're going to see it engage now into the bot lane as Zhou puts up the Unbreakable to stop Elk and Missing from getting too much purchase from that engage.
Oh, looks like we might have a 2v2 up in top side, though.
They're going to go for it. Viego is there, though. Karsa goes in. The Cyclone is good as they're trying to get 369's flash. They will get it. Double knock-up as Karsa forced the flash away, but it is not far enough. Flash forward, going to get the ultimate down, and another double kill. 2 kills up to Breathe for WE. Nicely done there by the side of WE.
And we're going to see more action in the bot lane, Penguin.
We're going in, but JackeyLove's been caught. The stand behind me has only been just used now. The Unbreakable, not quite there. There's the auto attack. The Ignite's going to be good enough and Missing. Forcing flash and flash. Supportal combat to the max as top esports answer again in the bot side.
And that Guardian just came up so clutch at the end for JackeyLove. I think Elk was on cooldown regardless, so probably wouldn't have gone down. But TS bot lane really being the thing to hold down this early game for them. As going... Actually, I'm going to wait. Okay, weird time for a replay when Karsa potentially is running into his death. I'm really surprised TS went for this with the fact that Breathe is 6. Sure, 369 is as well, but I feel like Jayce's level 6 is so, like, much less important in 2v2s than Wukong to set up for all this damage to come out. And looks like Shanks just ignored one wave state in mid, just moved up the top, says, I don't care about losing on that wave, I don't care about the gold. If we can get ahead on this top side of the map, we will be positioned nicely. And to go back to something about the top lane matchup earlier, remember, it's not just about the level 6. I feel like that is where it really does turn heavily in Wukong's favor. But even with your Stone Skin passive, all the armor you get, it really makes laning against the Jayce very manageable as long as you're able to look for those really quick burst trades.
And with 2 kills, that's going to be the steel-plated toe caps onto Breathe on that top side. We are going to see another engage in the bot lane as Missing, just trying to see if he can catch out JackeyLove a little bit too far forward. It is difficult to do when he has got the 2 pretty much perfect guns for those close range skirmishes as the Rift Herald is going to be started. I don't really see a world where WE can fight this one off, as they do not have priority in bot, mid, or top. So now Top Esports just going to try and push up towards this dragon, make sure they're not trading it, make sure they're just gaining an objective based off of the priority they have garnered for themselves.
And even just, you know, highlighting towards Rift Herald just in case WE did opt into a contest. Nice ward here from Breathe to know that Karsa's making his way up. Not going to overstay. This is going to open up some plates on top lane, but Penguin, it doesn't end!
It does not end in this bot side. We're going to see the Moonlight Vigil going down on top of Missing as he's trying to keep himself alive, but he goes down once more. Elk now, one more auto attack, and he's got the concussive blows down. Another double kill in the bot side. I talked about that this might be a weakness, but Top Esports 100% proving me wrong.
Man, and how bad does that have to feel for Beishang? When enemy jungle is showing on top wave, you're on bot side river, and your bottom lane is still giving up 2v2 kills before you're able to make your way down to the lane. The fact that JackeyLove is so massive right now is so scary for the side of WE. WE will always have, you know, some amount of bursts where if they can get enough members onto him, they will be able to take him down. But the fact that he's already on the Immortal Shield, though, already has Sustain, already has the shield, it is not going to be easy. And like we said, the longer the game goes, Top Esports just have more DPS. And we see JackeyLove getting chunked out pretty low early on. The nice heal to come out from him, exhaust from Zhuo, I think very critical as well to get the slow and the damage reduction onto Elk, as Missing just continuously getting popped. And it feels like this is also can be a bit of item diff coming out from the earlier 2v2s that we'd seen, right? JackeyLove was already sitting on components before Elk was on that previous back, so able to come out ahead.
Well, we'll look to see if someone can come out ahead in this mid lane. Shag's going to dodge out both of the chains, but just on back on that bot lane skirmish as well. Like, Missing is still not level 6, so like, you're going up against 2 ultimates versus 1 ultimate. You don't have that extra bit of damage. You don't have that extra little bit of CC to keep yourself relevant in this fight. It just feels like Missing is flogging a dead horse at this stage. 1-6 in that bot side. All 6 of the kills for Top Esports so far have come from that bot lane, and like we mentioned, this is just huge for JackeyLove. Already on that Immortal Shield bow. We're not even 11 minutes into the game. This is just so difficult now to deal with. As WE, they wanted to be able to maybe abuse the fact that Aphelios isn't going to be as strong in the first, 15 minutes, 20 minutes of the game. But now he's already there. He's accelerated about 5-6 minutes ahead of everybody else.
And I want to see Top Esports start using all this pressure to play more around mid lane. I don't want to see 369 just endlessly sit in top lane. You know you have push in bot, you know you have push in top. I feel like this is where Knights...
Oh, he's fine for the moment. He's going to pop down the chain onto Missing as Missing's still waiting to hit level 6. He's almost there. Got about 2 or 3 minions left. As Zhuo is now roaming up towards this top side, seeing if he can catch somebody out. But the supportal combat does not go in your favor, Rakan, as you are 2 levels behind the big old man with the door. This is becoming difficult now for WE. I feel like Top Esports are the one dictating the pace. I feel like Top Esports are the one pushing the pressure down onto them.
Yeah, and as Top Esports right now, they have 2 options, and you can see one of them what they're doing now, right? It's typically you can either roam your top down to mid and then open up a window for your mid to go down bot and look to punish them that way, or they can just roam both side lanes towards mid and look to get more damage on that turret, as Karsa going on to Beishang.
Well, Beishang going back onto Karsa as they're trying to look for this one. There's a Crescent Guard. Now we have the quickness finally coming out. There's going to be the ultimate used by both the jungler and the support of Top Esports, but they are not able to make anything work. That was a bit greedy there from Top Esports.
And I would have loved to see Top Esports make a play like this on the window when 369 is down on that side of the map, right? Because then you can try to force out a TP, then you have a slight period of time where you do have numbers advantage and potentially have the damage where you can pick off a member from WE, but instead they go in as a 4v4, Karsa ends up way overextended and able to get taken down by the damage coming out from Shanks and Beishang. All ultimates were utilized in terms of the 3-man core who was there. Elk not having to use his bomb, but still, W investing a lot to get that one pick.
Just putting a little bit of respect back into Top Esports' mind, saying, look, we know that you're strong, we know you're feeling good right now, you got yourself about a 2,000 gold lead, but we're still here, you got to respect our damage and our outputs as we now see JackeyLove pushing into this bot side, found himself hidden in a brush, and Elk, he senses something. He knows he doesn't have flash. He needs to be very, very careful with how he goes for this, but the Gravitum is there, and that's going to mean so much easy damage going down onto Elk. He's just not really in a position to fight this, and Top Esports know that he is vulnerable little man, and Elk will fall. JackeyLove finishes what he started, and this is just pure pressure for those early kills.
I really love how they're using this lane prio, and you know, props to JackeyLove there. Sat on, I think, about like 1 bullet left in the Gravitum, used that, pop the stun, and then was able to switch to the Severum, have a bit more damage down. Sure, Elk able to get away at first with his W, but in the end, Knight able to use his prio roam down to secure that kill. And yeah, Elk losing so much down on this bottom side, JackeyLove potentially going to get another plate, and you're just getting so much gold. Luckily for Elk, does have the TP, but still going to miss out on a couple minions in terms of gold and EXP. So for TS, they are still just trucking forward. Looks like both Herald and Dragon going to be up relatively soon. We know Dragon up in about 13 seconds. Herald looks like it should be up shortly after as well. So as WE, you might have a timer where you're able to trade objectives if Top Esports do go for this bottom side. You want to see Shanks and Beishang going up into topside river right now and putting some vision down on the opposite side of the map. But with Pinks coming out to bot side, looks like WE might want to contest this.
WE looking like they want to go for this. They have a teleport available for Breathe. So you can see Zhuo just roaming it around, trying to see if he can get away some of this vision. No flank wards potentially for WE as they are looking towards this Dragon. It would be great for WE if they could be able to take away this objective. They know they would then have a win condition, if you will. They're going to pop up the Dragon and start it off straight away. You got to be careful. I will say, though, Double Gore Drinker makes this a very good fight for the jungle and mid of WE. As Missing goes forward, gets concussive blows down. There's a TP coming in off the back of this. The quickness going to be used. The flash going to be burned straight away by JackeyLove. He's going to use the Moonlight Vigil to try and maybe turn back some of this damage. But the Cyclone right on top of him. And yes, you've Immortal Shield Bow, but when you have backline access like this, you will fall. They get 2 kills, but while that was all happening, Karsa snuck away the Dragon.
So that goes to the combo that we hit on earlier. If you invest enough into getting onto JackeyLove, you do have enough burst between the rest of your members to take the fight. I want to see how that will go later on in the game, as Knight just going to get a bit of poke down. I don't think he is able to take down Beishang. But Penguin, I want to see how that goes when the game goes later. Oh my god, Top Esports are getting so much on the map, and it's crazy. You have Jayce, you have the Viego, you do have more sustained damage that is able to come out. So when a lot of the ultimates and cooldowns are down from the side of WE, even if we take out JackeyLove, I wonder if Top Esports will be able to turn it around later on. As we see here, they want to contest Drake. You see where the other members of TES are, but WE do have a ton of CC coming out. They locked on Missing and locked on Zhuo and force out JackeyLove's flash. Breathe commits the ultimate. The bomb is able to follow. And then JackeyLove really having no chance of responding. So nice job of WE to commit all to one side, but they did lose a tower, a dragon, and a Rift Herald for those picks and that bottom lane pressure.
Yeah, they gained 2 kills. A big shutdown, not to be taking away from it, but it is, like you said, a big shift of objectives going in favor of Top Esports. They now have the Rift Herald, like you mentioned. They, of course, got themselves their first Drake, as we can see now, 369. Trying to see if he can get away from this one here. Have to be a little bit wary that Karsa was on that blue buff, waiting for everyone to kind of walk into it as Top Esports find themselves on the top half of the map. Shanks now on bot lane, split push duty as he has got his teleport up in about a few seconds. This is going to be Top Esports now trying to accelerate the game, trying to put themselves back into the ascendancy, as you don't want to be losing too many more fights. I feel like if you get 1 or 2 more fights back into WE's favor, you're going to be feeling pretty good, as Breathe going to have to use a Cyclone just to stop everyone from jumping in on top of him, and the flash just because the chain had landed.
Really nice coming out from Knight to be able to get those. I think that's going to hurt WE massively in terms of team fights, because that is their, I'd say, most guaranteed engage. Sure, they do have Missing as well, but Missing much squishier than Breathe is on this Wukong. TS now going to have windows to get pressure. I want to see 369 push out on top and start making his way down towards mid, and then TS can potentially look for a skirmish here, try and set up for, you know, a siege on this mid lane turret.
Ethereal, the chain length is just ridiculous. I don't care what anyone says. You should not be able to put it down and then dash away and have it still land. It doesn't seem fair at all, as we can now see the recall from Missing not going to be interrupted. Knight gets himself behind enemy lines just for a second, just for a peek behind and see what goes on. There's the Reptile going to be jumping down, but the Mega Inferno Bomb going to be used to try and thin out this wave. They should still be able to get the charge off and get the kill onto this turret. As I say that, though, everyone from WE is here. They are forcing everyone back. So the Rift Trail did go down, but the turret still stands.
Still, TS, I think, doing a nice job because now TS can just default back to pushing out sides. You look at what W have to do now. Breathe having to go answer that top wave, and TS can just wait for the members of WE to show on sides to just poke their heads back out in mid lane and get this turret.
They're looking for a Zhuo, though, taking so much poke damage. You still got to respect the Ziggs. He may be 0-4, but he's got himself a Leandries. They will eventually take down that turret. Took a little bit longer than Top Esports may have thought, but a win's a win is a win, and they are still 2,500 gold ahead, so they're still very much comfortable, very much taking this game in their stride and waiting to see what WE have as a response.
And W at this point are just waiting for those 5v5s, right? They're waiting for things like Dragon to come back up, so still a minute on that one to be able to force that combo that we did see before with multiple members going in. But 369 might be in a dangerous place as I think he's just dead, Penguin.
Yeah, there's nothing he can really do. Quickness going to be used. He's going to try and keep himself alive. Maybe trade back a little bit of damage. He flashes away, but I don't think there's going to be much else he can really do here. They're going to give that one over to Breathe. 4-0 on this Wukong. We highlighted how much WE like to give him kills, and they have doing just that. And not only did they get the kill, they should be able to get the turret as well. So a nice little bit of gold injection coming back for WE.
And the timer is just very awkward for TS, but very good for WE, where you're able to get that pick, get that turret, all before Dragon come up. So they're going to be able to get resets off and get down to this bottom half of the map in time. Top Esports were able to secure vision control while WE were looking for that play. So that is the trade-off that WE went for. But still, 369 about to be up, does have TP, so you would expect maybe something like that to have to come through. But Zhuo also going for a base. So TS not going to be able to poke WE out if they walk in just yet, but still will be able to keep up vision control and this prio on mid-wave.
Oh, they're going to jump straight in onto the Rakan and delete him off the map. Nothing you can do, and that is exactly the kind of play you want to be seeing coming out from Knight. He is just so dangerous when you give him these big assassins.
Yeah, and this was what we were hitting on in draft, right? Is that Knight will be the one to have angles to look for these picks. We were highlighting more on Elk, but even Missing being incredibly squishy, if Missing ever walks forward to try and get vision down, he will just be dead. So Knight and JackeyLove feel like the crucial members that we are going to be looking at for the side of TES. Karsa definitely having a bit of a quieter game this time around, really just mostly focusing on his farm. 369 on the Jayce has been able to get prio with the help of the team, but we're going to see here in the replay, I mean, Missing was walking in to try and get vision down, sweep out the enemy side. Beishang not too far behind him, but still, Knight has enough damage at this point to just one-shot him.
Well, Knight is hovering towards this top side. No one knows exactly where he is, but with the Ziggs and the rest of the side of WE, you get the satchel charge down, and you should be able to take this turret for yourself. Yep, there it is. Nicely done, thank you. And that's a big objective now for WE. We talked about the importance of mid lane turret, but now knowing that all outer turrets are down for both sides does open up this game and open up the map a little bit more for both sides.
I do want to say, though, that even though breaking down mid lane turret is crucial and important and always nice, you know, even for just basic things like the gold you get, in terms of being able to use that to walk into the enemy quadrant of the jungle, that still comes down to more of which team has, you know, champion pressure on the waves in mid, which for now still will be TS. WE will just be able to clear it out easily with the fact that they have a Ziggs, but I don't think WE should really be in a position where they are pushing in mid wave and walking into Top Esports jungle unless they're going on a window where Top Esports are on resets or something like that. So nice injection of gold for them, but Top Esports still going to be the team with map control, have 2 Drakes, and are 2k gold in the lead.
I gotta say, though, I imagine that the 2k is pretty much all concentrated onto JackeyLove, so take him out and that gold lead is gone. For WE, that's exactly what they want to be doing anyway. They want to be finding out the Aphelios. Gonna have to watch out for Knight, and of course for Karsa, on 2 very good and sneaky champions. The pink ward that the observers did highlight in the red side jungle of Top Esports is now gone, so WE not going to be able to utilize a flank ward there. And the game has slowed down significantly. I feel like both sides just happy to be picking up items. We see 2 items pretty much across the board for everyone on the side of Top Esports. But for WE, they're still waiting for a couple of those spikes as Knight going to be caught out a little bit. Missing, seeing if he can just get a little bit cheeky with it, but you can't really walk into this jungle just yet. Knight still very, very powerful with that Cosmic Drive and, of course, the Luden's Echo. Going to be very difficult, and oh my god, missing almost deleted.
I also want to say I'm quite surprised that Knight went for the Cosmic Drive. You know, typically you don't see this in LeBlanc. LeBlanc builds, right? You go pretty much pure damage, things like the Void Staff typically coming out very early on as well, but gonna go more for that ability haste, so I'm assuming just wanting to pop his head in with those combos as much as possible to whittle the side of WE down, because for the LeBlanc, right, he's never really gonna be looking to just all in and look for the assassination. It really is just looking for these combos, continuously popping your head in, tethering the enemy staying on the outside of the range, and setting up those picks. But it looks like now Top Esports trying to get control of mid once again.
Trying to get control of mid, but also just gaining a lot more utility around the Baron. It's nice. He needs to be a little bit careful. He gets caught out by a quickness or a knock-up, he could be in a lot of trouble. And now with Dragon spawning in a minute and a half, I feel like Top Esports are very happy just to set up around that objective. They know they've got the poke with the Jayce. They know they're going to be very, very close, 2-3 items onto their Aphelios. I think he's going back now just to finish that one up. No, almost there. Almost got the Infinity Edge. So big moment here for Top Esports. For WE, you got to stop this. You cannot let Top Esports get onto an Ocean Soul point.
The silver lining for the side of WE is that, right, all their damage is burst anyway, so Ocean's still not going to get the most value, but I still think the bigger problem is just the fact that, I mean, you're going up against a Braum, you're going up against an Aphelios, like their damage is going to become insane. Sure, you do have a Ziggs, which is incredibly annoying, and always does have the potential to one-shot, but pretty much every champion on Top Esports across the board, I think, does pretty well later on, barring the LeBlanc, but even Knight will always have opportunities to get on top of Elk and Missing, so for WE, I definitely think they need to be looking to take this. They need to be looking to taking a fight now as well. Shanks, though, what are you doing, my dude?
Yeah, he's trying to get priority into that mid lane, not quite able to gain it. 30 seconds until this dragon does spawn. We can see 369 force a flash over the wall, but he's dead. He's been caught out. The Cyclone, no, he's not dead, as karsa is able to be there to protect him, but look who is dead. Elk dies straight away off of the back end of the fight. It's two split from WE, and their dive is on the wrong person. They don't get the option to go for what they wanted to go for, and now the TPs are coming in. Top Esports smell blood in the water. WE trying to keep themselves alive. They jump in, trying to get on top of JackeyLove, but he flashes away. He will fall at the end of it all, but at what cost? WE have nowhere to run. They've nowhere to hide. They will lose 4 of their members, only gain 1, and they're going to lose the Dragon and possibly the Baron as well.
And this is why Top Esports are able to balloon their gold leads so quickly, because they're always going to look for plays like this. They get one pick, they realize they have the TP on 369, and of course they are going to look for the team fight against WE. Making their way towards that top side now for the Baron that you set up. Knight looking for Beishang. Maybe he finds him.
Yeah, they're going to look for this one here and try and just get a red buff for himself as well. It's going to be nothing more said about it. Beishang, though, will try his very, very best. But Elk, you need to run away, my friend. You cannot fight this guy right now at all. I don't know what's happening. Knight's just playing keep away with absolutely everybody. There's the Mega Inferno Bomb. Ooh, I got a little excited, but nothing to be scared of for Top Esports fans. They get themselves the Baron, they get themselves a delayed ace, and they have themselves a 5,000 gold lead.
Man, I love watching Knight on mechanical champions like LeBlanc. Knight's always at a decent LeBlanc. It's surprising that actually Knight's LeBlanc is 0-4 so far this split. I definitely think that's not a testament to his skill in a champion, as we're seeing here. Him just play so phenomenally. Now for Top Esports, they have a Baron and they have a 5k gold lead. Dragon was still up. We're going to go into the replay and see what happened on the top half of the fight. WE's bot lane, actually mostly just Elk, trying to follow through with Shanks, where the rest of the members were all inning onto 369, like you said. And this is one of the awkward things about WE's comp, in my opinion, is that everything just wants to run forward, which typically will leave the Ziggs vulnerable. We see here that they do bring in 369. For WE, they do just burn every flash possible to get on top of JackeyLove, so they are going to be able to burn him down in the end. But Top Esports still have everything else available. Like we talked about earlier, sure, you invest everything into taking down JackeyLove, but Top Esports have other sources of damage.
Those sources of damage are really ripping through these health bars. We can now see both bot and mid tier 2s being taken down here by the side of Top Esports. They had Shanks for WE in top lane. He was just basically setting himself up to push in that wave. He knows there's no real fight to happen unless it's around the inhibitor turrets. They're just going to give away those objectives, and a 1 in 10 bot side is just not what you want to be seeing here for WE. And we mentioned how this could be a big thorn in their side, and we thought maybe with the Ziggs and the Rakan they could mitigate a lot of that pressure, but they just went for so many things. As we see a flash forward, Elk though not going to be taken down by Knight today. Knight feeling very frisky though on this LeBlanc pick, weaving in and out, and you can see just how difficult it is for WE to cover both these lanes.
Yeah, W just gonna have to accept the punishment. Coming out is a TP flank coming in for Breathe.
Oh, I love this. They know they can get on the JackeyLove right here, right now. The Mega Inferno Bomb goes down. He's been knocked up for absolutely days, and he does fall. Top Esports are separated. Now Knight, the only one really coming back into this with a full HP bar. Elk, though. Wait, what happened to Elk? Karsa just found Elk in the base and just chased him down, so it's a 1-for-1, and the base gets cracked open. WE thought they found themselves an opportunity, but Top Esports said, no, not today.
Penguin, we see it again. Every member of WE runs forward. Guess who can't run forward? The Ziggs. And Karsa chasing him all the way to Fountain. Ends up being a 1-for-1. Members of Top Esports still have Baron. Knight gonna get the chain down, but no one close enough to follow up on damage. Looks like it should be an inhibitor for the side of TS, so they are going to get something with this Baron push. Top Esports actually getting about 3,500 gold advantage with it so far, so making good use. Karsa gonna push in that top wave now, but looks like resets coming out on other members, so don't really think Top Esports should be able to get more off of this push.
We're going to look at hopefully look at the replay of that, because it was a good idea. I feel like WE know that they are running out of time with the wallet that they have versus the wallet that Top Esports have. And yeah, and like Karsa just goes, oh cool, forget about this, I'm going straight onto you. And Elk does very well, honestly, to survive for as long as he does.
I mean, he does what he can, right? But he's already so far behind just from early laning phase. I mean, he is a Ziggs. Karsa is on an assassin who can very easily close distance and be able to burst you out. Karsa now pretty durable as well, having the Guardian Angel and the Sterax Gauge, so can be a bit of a nuisance to deal with in team fights. But hey, we've seen WE's composition is very durable. Without JackeyLove, despite the fact that you do still have damage, I feel like it is pretty hard for TS to take them down. You have to whittle them down a lot beforehand to try and kite them out after the fact. Dragon still 2 minutes away. That is a potential Ocean Soul for the side of Top Esports. And until then, I think TS just have to keep managing their side waves. We see Knight pushing in top right now, Karsa handling bot, keep forcing the members of WE to show on sides, and then looking for those collapses onto the bot lane of WE in mid lane.
Yeah, one positive for a Ziggs, despite him being 0 and 6, he's still a Ziggs, so he will, with 3 items, still be able to push in these waves endlessly. But Knight doesn't really have anyone answering him right now. Shanks will eventually get towards this turret, but Knight is a very, very powerful LeBlanc. Finally has the Rabadon's Death Cop to go alongside that Medjai's Soul Stealer, so lots of burst damage potential here for the side of Top Esports. And Elk, I just don't see a world where he survives. Anyone gets on top of him. 369, Knight, hell, even JackeyLove, he's just dead.
Yeah, all of Top Esports members on really good item break points right now, to where you look at WE, a ton of sustain, they're all bruisers. But for TS, I think we saw Knight, I think it was 540, yep, 541 AP, so I mean, his one combo is going to deal a ton of damage. I feel like even some of the tankier members of WE might go down to about 60% or 50% of their health. And for TS, they did what we were talking about. They pushed in top, they pushed in bot. WE were forced to answer, and now, oh
wow.
God, Penguin!
Wow! There's just nothing. What are you supposed to do? Like, what can you do there? There's just absolutely no way out, just purely from the burst of Top Esports. And yeah, WE have picked a great bruiser comp, but the two people who are not very bruisery are the two people who are getting picked off time and time again. 0-6-4 on Elk, 1-7-5 on Missing. They just haven't got the health bars to deal with it.
No, and right, they just can't walk forward into TS. Pretty much WE need to do what they did before, where you're bringing in someone like Breathe or Shanks first on a flank. They're able to eat a lot of that damage with the Sterax, with the Lord Drinker, with their ultimates, and then the other members are able to combo and follow up slightly after for the burst to come out. This is going to be an Ocean Soul for the side of TES. Bot lane inhibitor turret is quite low, so we can see TS start to focus on that one, but with Baron still up, they need to be a bit cautious. Knight doesn't have TP either, did just use it, so gotta be a little bit careful, though WE's Baron definitely not too exceptional, and with how far behind they are, I think it would be pretty rough for WE to go for a play like that.
Yeah, with the absence of a traditional AD carry, you just don't have the potential really to be able to push in and get that one as quick as you'd probably like. Knight sitting off onto the side, knows that he's got himself an unholy amount of AP, just sitting under 600 as he tries to maybe walk forward and find somebody sitting there on the side of WE. He now sees a bomb or two and knows that Elk is around. But WE doing very well at just holding so far. But they need to be a bit more careful. They have only got Breathe in bot side. He would have to TPs at 6 or 7 seconds. They would not be able to get their top laner into this fight. But now, Knight might be in a little bit of trouble. Does have the second distortion to keep himself safe. Gets himself back out. Now Baron being started, takes it very, very quickly on the side of Top Esports. The Baron down to 5,000 HP. It's gone. It's going. It's almost certainly going to be gone, and that is going to be a simply easy objective for Top Esports now with Super Minions in the mid lane. Now with themselves having that Baron buff, they may look to try and just end this game.
I think the critical thing there for WE was it didn't have any great wards for WE to send Breathe to. Is I'm gonna hold WE looking for a brush strat. This is about all they have left in the tank. Not able to find it. Top Esports actually being pretty smart, being conscious of the fact that WE can be playing in Fog of War. But they didn't have a place to bring in Breathe on the TP flank. Top Esports pushed in the waves, they cleared all the vision, and they were able to get that Baron easily. So now we're gonna be watching Knight and how low he can get the members of WE.
Not even just Knight, the rest of Top Esports. There's the Moonlight Vigil, gonna hit right between the sticks, so no purchase off of that one there. You can see the side of Top Esports pushing forward, seeing if they can get as much as possible off of this, and they're going to be able to crack open the base a second time, get themselves an inhibitor in mid, retake the one down there, and get themselves a new one up in top side. They can move straight down towards this bot lane. This tower very, very low. They could probably tank it, if I'm being totally honest, and take it very, very quickly. That's exactly what they're going to go and try and do. Knight just playing keep away, making sure they haven't got a full 5 front-to-back fight, because if Knight's on the backside, you're just going to lose. And Breathe getting so much damage put down on top of him. Has to get a Sterex and get himself out, but now WE, you've no structures left. It's you and your Nexus turrets. You gotta make a fight. You gotta make a decision, but I just don't think they can, Lyric.
I mean, they're just getting poked down so low. Breed's gonna look for it, but Knight once again!
Oh my god! So much damage, and there's just nothing left in the tank for WE. They'll try their best. Elk trying to put in as much DPS as he possibly can. They will not be able to find absolutely anything. Top Esports will take this first game off of Team WE, and they will go 1-0 up and one step closer to that top 5.
Yep, Top Esports looking for top 5. WE can no longer finish in 3rd place. Every game in this series could have changed WE's placing in terms of 2-0, 2-1, 1-2, 0-2, and now with the fact that they cannot 2-0 Top Esports, they can no longer make it up to 3rd. Still can make it up to 4th. So WE, again, no matter, even if they lose, they want to be able to pick up a game. They want to be able to get as high as possible in terms of their seeding into playoffs. But TS, I think, doing a great job of shutting that down. I mean, Knight was phenomenal on this pick. The bottom lane 2v2, man,
yeah.
that was just so one-sided. For WE's part, I feel like that's your biggest takeaway is like, man, we got to go back and review. We got to see how we did play this, wrong later on if you want to go back to something like a Ziggs. A bit of a meme, first time Ziggs. Sadly for Elk, it actually was true. This was his first time playing Ziggs, at least on the LPL stage, and not looking too comfortable in that laning phase by any means is quite sad, and Top Esports were able to capitalize with the fact that they had 3 lanes of prio from very early on.
Look at the damage from Knight there. Just eclipsing anyone else on the team and really putting his best foot forward. I was going to do a quick match there, but I'm pretty sure it's not correct. I was going to see if WE had the same amount or less than as Knight in that game, but quick maths in my head says they would have more because, Elk had about 20,000. But again and again, we're seeing Top Esports do this where they have a rough, I suppose not rough, but definitely a couple of question marks pop up during the regular split. We start to talk about, oh, maybe this, maybe that, and then come the end of the split, come towards when you make your money, when you put yourself the best foot forward, Top Esports turn it on. They always turn it on, and it's just so good to see them that even if they come in at 7th or at 1st, they are still a massive threat.
I'm just saying, Penguin, some of you guys jumped off the Top Esports hype train way too soon.
I'm still off it. I'm on RGs. Bye.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't put me into that camp. 369 and Zhuo only came back onto the roster pretty recently, so I think it is going to take a bit more time to see Top Esports at that full power, and we already talked about the skill ceiling of this team.
We'll see if they can continue their rampage or if WE have got something left in the tank. We're going to throw it to a quick break when we return.